Okay, hello. We're going to be talking about advertising. For a while, advertising affects basically every media that exists, and especially in the United States, but really all over the world. Whatever media you refer to, advertising has a major role in that. And so it'll affect television, radio, newspapers, magazines, the internet, social media, all of that. Let's have a look. First of all, this is from the Association of National Advertisers, and of course they are in favor of advertising. That's their business. So they're not completely unbiased, but what does advertising then say? What does the advertising industry say is the benefit of advertising? And we're going to expand on some of these points as we go along, but advertising fuels economic growth. To compete and grow in today's marketplace, companies must efficiently reach consumers, alerting them to new products and competitive pricing. So advertising helps businesses reach consumers and persuade them to buy products. And for anyone then who works for those businesses and works in those industries, they benefit because the business or the industry benefits from advertising. And so the economy is made stronger, and people have jobs that perhaps pay more than they would, or maybe they have a job where they wouldn't have a job at all. So advertising helps to promote a strong economy. Fosters a wide array of affordable media choices. Most of the media that you consume is probably funded by advertising. And when you watch a YouTube video, for example, very often an advertisement comes on first. If that was not the case, and I think you can you not subscribe to YouTube and pay a monthly fee to not have those ads? If it's not true of YouTube, it's true of other online media. But when you watch a YouTube video and you watch the commercial first, it's the commercial that's making that video available to you. Advertising educates the public. You might scoff at that, but I know when my wife picks up a newspaper, she's probably looking at the ads really more than she's looking at the news, and she's looking to see what's on sale and who has a particular thing that she's looking for. And so we do get information from advertising that we use in making choices as to where to shop and what to buy. Advertising has limited First Amendment protection, and you know the First Amendment has to do with freedom of speech. And advertising has less protection under the First Amendment, say, than the news that appears in a newspaper or the news that is broadcast on a TV or radio station. This has been established by the U.S. Supreme Court, and so the federal government regulates advertising and can step in and prevent a commercial or an ad from appearing if the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, determines that it's false and deceptive. So that's a limitation on First Amendment rights on free speech. Let's have a look at this commercial. This is actually not a commercial, but it's a video from the Federal Trade Commission about deceptive car commercials.
You see the ads. Low price, low payments, no interest, zero down, guaranteed trade-in offers or rebates. Sounds good, but when you get to the dealer, there could be a catch. To get the low price you saw advertised, you might have to make a big down payment or pay extra fees. What about that 0% financing? It turns out you might need a sky-high credit score to qualify. And the extra low monthly payment? Maybe to start, but it could balloon into a much bigger payment later on. Learn as much as you can about a dealer's reputation ahead of time. And when it's time to sign a sales contract, make sure the deal and terms you agreed on are in the contract. You're in the driver's seat. If you can't get the advertised deal or one you feel good about, just walk away. If a dealer isn't honest when it comes to its car ads, let the FTC know. Want to know more? Visit ftc.gov/cars.
So there's some good advice in that video, but the point I wanted to make mostly was that they say if you see what you think is a deceptive, false ad having to do with the sale of cars, but really anything, to let the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, know, and they give you the website to go and do that. And those advertisements could be removed from television or radio or the internet. And also the advertiser could be fined because of that. So that is an example of how advertising is regulated at the federal level. The Food and Drug Administration, the Federal Communications Commission, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau also regulate specific categories of advertising, and then there's a fair amount of self-regulation. The advertising industry is concerned with its image, and it tries to police itself. So there's efforts within the advertising industry to try to limit the amount of false advertising. The benefits. So we're going to talk now about the benefits of advertising. We are also going to talk about some of the drawbacks, some of the negative effects of advertising. We'll do that in the next outline in the next video. But right now we're going to be talking about benefits. So, and we'll, again, as I said, we're amplifying some of those first points that we were talking about a few minutes ago. Advertising fuels economic growth, boosts the economy, plays a major role in generating economic activity and job creation. Let's look at this video about Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is the best-known brand in the world, and yet they continue to spend billions of dollars a year on advertising. Everybody knows Coca-Cola, and most people like it, some more than others. But so why do they continue to advertise? And yet they do. They will spend, say, $5 million, really it's more than that now, on a Super Bowl.
The Bachelor is back. Stream it live on ABC with YouTube TV.
Hey, this is Mark Davis with Big Water Adventures. If you followed us over the years, we're filming season 14. I've traveled just
Budweiser, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Budweiser, McDonald's, Budweiser, McDonald's, Budweiser, McDonald's, Coca-Cola. Why would a company like Coca-Cola, that everybody already knows, spend millions of dollars to remind you that they still exist? Why does Coca-Cola want to buy a Super Bowl ad? To answer this question, we brought in a smart person who gets paid to get inside your head. Meet Amy Avery.
Chief Intelligence Officer at Droga 5, Adweek and Ad Agent's top creative agency.
Droga 5, by the way, is a big advertising agency, one of the sort of cutting-edge, newer advertising agencies in the world.
Let me guess, faking your own death to get out of your Verizon contract?
You know, people around me ask all the time, because I do measurement, is $5.1 million really a reasonable amount to charge for that, and why would a brand ever do it? Yes, you're buying exposure, but that's not really what you're buying there. You're buying access into conversation, you're buying access into a memorable experience, you're triggering emotion.
Oh, man.
One truth about advertising is that it usually targets your subconscious more than it does your conscious mind.
So much of advertising is built for a long tail. People say it doesn't work, and they're like, because I didn't see something, and then go buy it. And I'm like, that's not what we're counting on, actually. We're counting on this long tail.
For some big purchases like a car, you might research it, give it a lot of thought, and that's where the details of an ad you saw about an APR deal might kick in.
It's 0% financing for 60 months.
But for most of the things that you buy every day, you don't really think about why you're doing it. It's that brief moment before you grab a product off the shelf that those countless ads you've seen over and over and over again take effect. Should you go with the cheaper brand you've never heard of, or the more expensive brand you saw on TV?
So we'll pause that. There it goes on for another minute and a half or so. You can watch the rest of it if you like. But Coca-Cola, which is the best-known brand in the world, continues to spend a lot of money on advertising. So obviously they think it's important. Obviously they think it's effective. And as she said, they are doing it to be part of the event. Let's say it is the Super Bowl. And how many million people, 100 million people, view the Super Bowl? every year. It's one of the big social events, and so Coca-Cola wants to be part of that. They want to basically share in your experience, or for you to share your experience with them in a way, and that's good for Coca-Cola's image. You associate Coca-Cola with fun times, exciting events, and that is part of why they continue to advertise. Let's have a look at this. We'll look at this one, even though this is from Great Britain. Their economy is very similar to ours. Their society and even governmental structure is similar. So we're waiting for it to open. Here it comes. And how advertising fuels the economy. So this would largely be true here as well as in Great Britain. Advertising and growth, and we've already discussed this somewhat. Advertising adds 120 billion pounds to the United Kingdom gross domestic product. That's the economy. The gross domestic product, by raising the level of economic activity and boosting productivity. Now, 120 billion pounds is 165 million US dollars, to give you a bit more perspective there. So it's driving economic activity. It's encouraging people to buy, and that's helpful to businesses and for people who work for those businesses. Advertising boosts competition. That's good for the consumer. We like competition in whatever it is that we buy, because we'll probably get a better product. Advertising matches buyers and sellers more efficiently, brings buyers and sellers together, people who need a particular product and people who sell a particular product, whether it's shoes or fast food or whatever it might be. Advertising accelerates the growth of new businesses and ideas. And the higher levels of advertising spending on advertising increases the gross domestic product or the economy. The most efficient way to reach consumers, because it is targeted. Advertising on television is less targeted, say, than it is in social media, but especially now with cable television, many cable channels, most cable channels are targeted at a particular audience. ESPN is targeted at sports fans. And you can think of other examples. And so those people have certain characteristics that can be targeted. And obviously in social media, everything is very specifically targeted. And so if you go to a particular website to check something out, then you'll go to Facebook or something within maybe just a few minutes, and you'll see an ad for that particular thing. It's the cookies, it's the connections that exist, and there's some privacy issues that go with that. But advertising is even though it is costly, it is the most efficient way to reach consumers. At some point, we'll talk about something called cost per thousand, and that's a way of calculating the cost of reaching 1,000 people in an audience, and advertising is relatively efficient in that way. Advertising contributed $3.4 trillion to the U.S. gross domestic product, the economy, in the year 2014, and that was 19% of the total economic output. So in all of the economic activity that occurred in 2014, advertising accounted for about a fifth of that, about 19%, one way or the other. So that's important, and we all benefit from that. Advertising provides a wide array of media choices. Vast, affordable media choices enrich our society and promote democracy. Most of us are happy to have a lot of different choices of social media sites, television programs, radio stations, all of those things. And advertising provides the financial foundation for the media, for the most part. without the advertising, either the media wouldn't exist or you would be paying directly for that media. And in some ways that has become more common these days with Netflix and so on. And so that has become more of a way that media operates. But if it was not for advertising, all media would be that way, or the media just simply wouldn't exist. Commercial over-the-air broadcasting, so your local TV channels and radio stations, completely supported by advertising. Cable TV, newspapers, and magazines, either print or online, and social media receive a major portion of their revenue from advertising, and we benefit from all of those. Advertising has led to a proliferation of media choices, just been an explosion of media since the time I was young, and it's almost unimaginable how much it has grown, and that is made possible by advertising. The most popular internet search engines, including Google, provide free access thanks to advertising revenues. And again, this is because they have your information when you look there, and then they're able to target advertising, direct advertising to you. And again, there are some privacy concerns with that, which we will talk about. Without advertising, many media organizations would either not exist or would be very costly. There's the education aspect. Advertising informs consumers about product choices. And sometimes we actually look for advertising to give us some information about a particular product that we're looking for. As I say, my wife will search the newspaper for ads. Increasingly, advertising educates and informs the audience, the public, about issues that affect their lives. And some organizations buy advertising time to promote a particular message. This is called cause advertising. We'll look at an article here about that. And there's different points of view on this. Cause marketing and the Super Bowl, is it ethical? Example given of Budweiser promoting a charity in this case. And some other examples, Kraft, T-Mobile, Red Lobster, Hyundai, Toyota, all doing some cause marketing. So to focus on the gist of this article, returning to the Budweiser commercial, your question seems to boil down to this. Does the commercial prove that Budweiser is a good company capable of charitable acts, or a bad company that uses giving back as a means to just sell more beer? And the answer is probably both. According to Budweiser, its Cartersville, Georgia brewery has provided more than 79 million cans of water for relief efforts since 1988, including 3 million cans in 2017 for disaster relief in Texas, Florida, Puerto Rico, and California. So that's a good thing. However, one wonders what further impact Budweiser could have had on the affected regions it pumped water into had it not spent $5 million on a Super Bowl ad, presumably humble bragging about its impact. I guess so, but is it reasonable to think that Budweiser will do this and then not seek to gain benefit from it in the form of enhancing its image? If Budweiser enhances its image, and if people are provided with water who need the water, are we not all better off? Is the point of view that I think people who are sympathetic to advertising, and that does include me for the most part, that's the point of view we would take. Here's a Budweiser ad. This is from a Super Bowl, and in which they're promoting Budweiser, but also promoting the idea of not driving drunk.
Hello, I'm Helen Mirren, a notoriously frank and uncensored British lady. The collective, we are dumbfounded that people still drive drunk. So I'll sum it up like this. If you drive drunk, you, simply put, are a short-sighted, utterly useless, oxygen-wasting human form of pollution, a Darwin Award-deserving, selfish coward. If your brain was donated to science, science would return it. So stop it. Now the chances are you're a fun, solid, respectable human being. Don't be a pillock. Your friends and family thank you. The friends and family of other drivers thank you. Your future self thanks you. This is supposed to be fun. Cheers. Nice and cold.
Interesting there that she doesn't hold the bottle so that the brand is completely visible, but then of course they come in with the logo there at the end. Give a damn. For every use of hashtag Give a Damn, Budweiser will spend $1 on Safe Ride programs. So yes, Budweiser does this to enhance Budweiser's image, but it also benefits the public by providing a program like that, and that is part of advertising. Public service advertising, public service announcements, PSAs, are produced for nonprofit organizations by the Advertising Council. And the Advertising Council is made up of advertising agencies and other advertisers. And so they create public service announcements. You can, by the way, you can see them on this YouTube page. And they have them in all kinds of different categories. And these are broadcast free of charge on television stations and radio stations. And so there's public service announcements for COVID-19 vaccination, racial justice, foster care, all kinds of things that are promoting positive social good. And this is made possible by advertising. Technically, these are not advertisements, they're public service announcements, but they're created by the advertising industry and then the broadcasting industry, and in some cases online and cable communicators, media will also use those, but they're made possible by advertising. Corporations, ad agencies, broadcasters, and publishers donate $1.5 billion in public service campaigns each year. That comes from advertising. Okay, so again, we're talking about the benefits. There are some criticisms and some negative aspects of advertising that we will talk about, and we'll discuss that next time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.